Okay, it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday, September 8th, 2020. This is the Iroquois County Board meeting. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Alt.
Here.
Bard.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Bowman.
Present.
Bowers.
Here.
Kokenauer.
She's in the hallway on her phone.
Crow. Curtis.
Here.
Doobie.
Here.
Ducott.
Here.
Hughes. Johnson.
Here.
McGinnis. Taggart. Awful.
Here.
Shore.
Here.
Sticknot.
Here.
Whitlow.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Zumwalt.
Present.
18 present.
Okay, Mrs. Awful.
Yes, we have Pastor Mike Purcell from Trinity Church here in Watsika in the Ashland campus. He's going to start us in service.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this supposed to be on or?
It is on.
It is on, okay. All right. Let's pray together. Father, your word says to not be anxious about anything, but in prayer and petition with thanksgiving, Lord, to present our requests to you, and that your peace, which transcends all understanding, will guard our hearts and our minds in Christ Jesus. Lord, thank you for your word, Philippians. Lord, thank you that you have Lord, thank you that we have government representatives, Lord, who believe your truth. Lord, Lord, I pray that you would remind them to seek your guidance as they make decisions that affect our county. Lord, send them godly wisdom, good counselors. Lord, I pray you give them strength to choose integrity in all things. Lord, you forgive us for the times we've entered a conversation without really listening. Father, show us how to listen with open and humble hearts. Father, especially to people different from us. Lord, help our leaders to do the same. Father, teach us to focus less on getting our way and more on loving our neighbors, especially the most vulnerable among us. Lord, give these leaders the strength to be humble and soft-hearted and willing to listen to every voice. Father, we're grateful that you love us, no matter our status or our abilities. Father, give our leaders wisdom to create solutions that empower people. Lord, help us answer your call, the call in our lives to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with you. Holy Father, thank you for creating each of us with unique gifts and for gifting some with leadership ability to help guide this county. Father, I pray that you'd refresh their spirits, that you'd encourage them, that you'd give them the strength to make good decisions both in and out of the public eye. Lord, help them readily to give grace and, Father, to receive it. Father, protect their families from sickness, from bitterness, and from discouragement. May every leader here be encouraged by the truth that your love is always stronger than hate. Father, thank you for humbling yourself to walk alongside us as a man. Father, help our leaders be willing to walk alongside each other and their constituents. Father, our leaders have different opinions, different priorities. I pray you give them the wisdom to navigate differences and to work together to strengthen this county. God, forgive us for the times we failed to treat each other as your creation. Forgive us for celebrating unloving behavior. Lord, call us to a new level of respect and civility. Remind us that you are sovereign and that the wisest choice we can make is to serve you and serve others. Father, give your leaders, these leaders, the strength to lead by example with radical, world-changing love. We pray these things in Jesus' saving name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Hughes. Is there a second? Mr. Curtis. Are there any questions or comments regarding the agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kokenauer.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis. Doobie.
Yes.
Ducott.
Yes.
Hughes. Johnson.
Yes.
Chad is on. He is on,
I
yeah.
got on my phone.
Okay. Did he answer yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Chad, can you hear us?
And Mike's not, right? Mike McTaggart's not, okay. Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Stick Knot,
Here, yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt.
Yes. Okay, you were sent the minutes from the recess session of August 11, 2020, and the emergency session from August 20, 2020. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Mr. Hall, is there a second? Mr. Young? Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Barons,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Okenauer,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie,
Yes.
Ducott,
Yes.
Hughes, Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis. Okay. Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Stick Knot, Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Okay, next is payroll. You have a copy of the payroll in front of you. Is there a motion to approve that? Mr. Young, is there a second? Mr. Bowman, sir. Are there any questions or comments regarding the payroll? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Okenauer,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie,
Yes.
Ducott,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Stick Knot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Public comments. Do we have any public comments this morning? Seeing none, we'll forego the chairman comments and move to outside organization reports. And we don't have any of those either, so we'll go to committee reports, policy and procedure. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred policy and procedure would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 27, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Sure, Barons, Alt, and Sticknall. McTaggart and Awful were absent. Also present, Finance Manager Joe Johnson, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, County Clerk Chief Deputy Brian Suler, ICPHD Administrator Dee Shippert, EMA Director Eric Stacy, Myra Munding with Compass Insurance, and County Board Member Roger Bard. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Barons and seconded by Alt to approve the agenda. The motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. The committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Management and Judicial Chairman Barons reported that both Management and Judicial Committees will hear their standard reports. The Management Committee will open bids for waste disposal. Tax and Zoning Chairman Sticknall reported the Tax and Zoning Committee will hear the standard department head reports. Highway Chairman Alt reported the Highway Committee will be canceling their meeting for September, and their monthly claims will be reported to the Finance meeting for approval. EMA Director Eric Stacy reported another step that the mass notification system was completed. He is hoping to have the app set up within a few weeks. There were strong storms on August 10 that caused widespread damage and power outages. Stacy had antennas installed on the roof of the courthouse. Sure discussed changes to the personnel policy that were distributed via email to the committee. A new policy was written to establish the necessary steps to be taken when an employee moves from from a full-time position to a part-time position or becomes an elected official. It has also been discussed to review the entire personnel manual and submit to our insurance carrier for necessary changes. It was moved by Barron's and seconded by Sticknall to send policy number 1069, change of job positions, to the department heads for their review. That motion carried by a voice vote. It was moved by Barron's and seconded by Sticknall to enter into executive session at 9:21 under statute 5 ILCS 120/2/C1. Employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. The roll call vote was taken, that motion carried. It was moved by Alt and seconded to come out of executive session at 9:56 a.m. and roll call vote was taken, that motion carried. Correspondence was distributed to the committee. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Barron's and seconded by Alt to approve the claims subject to county board approval. The roll call vote was taken, that motion carried. There was no old business. There was no new business. There was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Alt and seconded by Barron's to adjourn at 10:10 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote. All of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for its adoption. Do we have a second? Mr. Barron, second. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowers.
Yes.
Okenauer.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes. Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sticknott.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Barron's.
Yes.
Coleman.
Management Services, Mr. Barron's.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee movement referred management services would beg leave to submit the following reports on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on August 31, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barron, Alt, Bowers, Zumwalt, Johnson. Paul Ducal and Kevin Goldman were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scherp, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, and Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake. Meeting was called to order. Moved by Charlie Alt, second by Paul Bowers to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. There were no public comments. John Zumwalt addressed the committee about the receding waterway off of Route 1 and asked if he could contact Steve Rapp. Zumwalt said he didn't want to contact Mr. Rapp without the committee's knowledge or approval. Zumwalt will get an estimate and report back to the committee. Alt noted the last time the matter was looked into, the county was unable to receive government funding, but the tenant could. Zumwalt suggested adding a maintenance clause in the farm lease that includes consequences. Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake's report included the following. Quarterly inspections on the elevators at the jail and courthouse were completed. Generators received their semi-annual inspection. For the past few months, all 7 boilers have been serviced. Repairs were done on a freezer and a dryer at the jail. The drainage tile pit project is complete. Thus far, there has been no standing water in the jail basement. Concrete work on the stairs at the courthouse began over the weekend. Generators at the administrative center have been inspected. Repairs were done on a heat pump in the finance center. Electric issues were resolved at Head Start. Concrete work was done on the parking lot at the administrative center. Greg spoke with Yankee Kent about the replacement of the awnings at the administrative center. They were originally installed in September 2006 and the 911 center had a replacement in 2012. The quote to replace all 7 awnings came in at $3,800. Greg said the awnings for Head Start and USDA are in the worst shape. Head Start replacement is $350 and USDA is $315. These items will be paid from Greg's repairs and maintenance budget line item. It was moved by Sherry Johnson and seconded by Zumwalt to replace the awnings at Head Start and USDA not to exceed $1,000. Roll call vote is taken, motion carried. Great compliment of the county's small contractor, Falls Lawn and Dark, for their help in hauling away the debris from the storm earlier in the month. Mayor's opened the waste disposal bids as follows. Republic Services, 6-yard container for administrative center, 1 time a week pickup for $85 per month and $149 per month for 2 weeks a week. 4-yard container for courthouse jail, 1 time a week pickup for $65 per month and $119 per month for 2 times a week pickup. Also, $150 one-time delivery fee applies. Kankakee AJ Disposal 6-yard container for administrative center, 1 time a week pickup for $100 per month, and $140 per month for 2 times a week pickup. 4-yard container for courthouse jail, 1 time a week pickup for $70 per month, and $100 per month for 2 times a week pickup. It's moved by Johnson, second by Zumwalt to accept Kankakee AJ Disposal bid for waste disposal at a cost of $140 per month for a 6-yard container and $100 per month for a 4-yard container. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Discussion was held last month on the new solar project. However, it is unsure if the necessary documents were forwarded to the state's attorney of Divine for Clean Energy Design Group. Barron said he will look into the matter. Barron talked to the committee about space requirements for the health department. Contact tracers have been hired to assist with COVID-19, and more room is needed to accommodate them. It has been proposed to remodel the janitor's closet due to it being connected to the health department space. Supplies in the closet will be moved to the toilet room. Finance manager Jill Johnson explained the county's contingency fund will be used for the remodeling project. If the health department is unable to use their grant money towards the remodel, they will pay rent for the additional space. The committee reviewed the claims that was moved by Bauer, second by Johnson, to pay the claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. During old business, finance manager Jill Johnson gave an update on the phone system. The cabling is complete, and they are working on the program. The goal is to be completed by the end of the week. Johnson said she has contacted the insurance company, and they are reviewing the claim. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Zumwalt, second by Hall to adjourn at 9:29 a.m. Motion carried, all which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the management report. Is there a second? Mr. Whitlow? Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mrs. Crowe?
Is there an amount determined for the rent on this additional space for the health department?
Not at this time.
One thing that I point out that we may not.
Yeah, well, we ran into a glitch, so we're still checking things out.
What bridge?
The wall. It's got stuff in it, and it's double thickness. One thing I got is on the waste disposal contract, we did not decide whether it was 1, 2, or 3-year contract. So we need I guess, a motion to do that. I think in the past, it's been a 3-year contract, so if we could have somebody make a motion to that effect. If they would like to go to a 3-year.
Who was it second? Steve? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Bard?
Will the prices they quoted hold for all 3 years, or will there be a revisitation of what the prices will be?
They will hold for 3 years,
They will? Okay.
unless we make any changes to
To the amounts that we get, or
try, exactly, if we decide to do, more pickups and whatnot, then that'll be dependent, but if we keep the same, so. Three-year contract.
There's no further questions about the 3-year arrangement for the contract. The clerk will call the roll, please.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Ducott.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis. Awful.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried 19-0.
Okay, are there any further questions or comments about the remainder of the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Ducott.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis. Awful.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Omenauer.
Yes.
19-0.
Okay, Health Committee, Mrs. Awful.
Yes. Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred to health would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 1st, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Awful, Whitlow, Curtis, Bard, Coconut, and Doobie were absent. Also present, Financial Director Joe Johnson, ICPHD Administrator Dee Shepard, EMA Coordinator Eric Cece, and Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Roger Bard and seconded by Jed Whitlow to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Ernie Curtis to pay the claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. Animal Control Director Dr. Yusuf gave his report for August, which included 11 dogs, 5 cats, and 2 bats picked up and brought to the clinic. Dr. Yusuf stated that August was a very busy month. Animal control officers assisted in many accidents, abuse, and wellness check calls. Dr. Yusuf stated that State's Attorney Jim Devine was involved in 2 animal abuse cases. One case specifically resulted in a large payout of mileage and was ordered to be reimbursed through fines paid by the animal's owner. ICPHD Administrator Dee Shepard explained that the grants and contracts was not included due to many of the grants being extended. She went on to discuss the COVID-19 crisis grant, in which $41,000 was received, is ended. The COVID-19 contact tracing grant, totaling approximately $800,000, is currently being used. Shepard informed the committee that deliverables for the COVID-19 contact tracing grant are currently in the process of being met. A contact tracer had been hired as a full-time employee. The employee will fill the open position of a vision and hearing screener as well. Another contact tracer was also hired and fills one of the requirements by being bilingual. Contact tracing was further discussed as Bard inquired about the process. Shepard explained that the first step includes isolation of 10 days and a detailed interview with the positive case. Also explained was a household contact and that these persons are in direct contact with a positive case. A household contact is quarantined at 10 days plus an additional 14 days to observe any symptoms of COVID-19. Shepard reiterated that the cases are daily monitored and there is follow-up on any reported non-compliance. She went on to explain that the state's attorney may be involved if necessary for a court order. An inquiry into the claim made for Burkotts was explained that it was COVID-19 related and covered by grants. Mileage was also questioned, and Shepard explained that mileage is being paid through the grant, as well as the normal budgeted mileage. Curtis questioned how the COVID-19 virus is contracted, and it was explained that it was primarily through respiratory droplets in the air. The virus could also live on surfaces. EMA Coordinator Eric Cece presented a data case chart which indicated the spikes in cases. The spikes included 3 school districts, and 3 long-term care facility cases. Shepherd broke down the number of cases. There were 2 in March, 32 in April, 98 in May, 25 in June, 82 in July, and 97 in August. Shepherd stated that there is concern about the flu season and encouraged getting a flu shot. The summary report of programs were reviewed by the committee. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Barr to adjourn at 9:39, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Health Committee report, seconded by Mr. Curtis. Are there any questions or comments? Mrs. Kroll?
Down about the third, fourth paragraph, ICPHD Administrator D. Shepherd explained that the grants and contracts was not included due to many of the grants being extended, not included in what?
Dean needs to be here to answer that one, I don't remember.
That was her, I'm sorry, the grants and contracts listing is one of the reports that she provides during the meeting. It wasn't provided due to,
Okay, so
They
that
were just
wasn't included in her report. Okay.
right, there was just extensions.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Curtis.
Yes.
Doobie.
Yes.
Dupont.
Yes.
Hughes. Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bard.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Obenauer.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
19-0.
Okay, tax planning and zoning, Mr. Sticknall.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, the committee to whom is referred tax/zoning would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 1, 2020 at 9:45 a.m. Members present were Sticknall, Curtis, Awful, Bard, and Whitlow. Obenauer and Doobie were absent. Also present, Finance Manager Jim Johnson, County Clerk Lisa Fancher, Treasurer Kurt Albers, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Awful and seconded by Bard to approve the agenda, and motion carried by voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Awful to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Lisa Fancher reported applications to vote by mail were sent out. Chief Deputy Brian Suber is working on a COVID-19 plan for the office and polling places. Some polling places were changed to allow for social distancing and notices were mailed out. Election judges are being lined up for the office as well as polling places. Packets were prepared and mailed for the 2021 consolidated elections. Awful question mail-in ballots and if a person can still vote in person if they decided they didn't want to vote by mail. Fancher explained that they can. They would just have to surrender their ballot or vote with a provisional ballot. Voted ballots can be brought into the office rather than mailed, and if bringing another person's ballot, a signed affidavit is required. Fancher went on to explain that early voting will begin on or around September 24th. Treasurer Kurt Albers reported that today is the last day for second installment tax payments. Albers also stated, for State's Attorney Jim Devine, the tax sale is still planned for October 26th. Property listings are expected to be received this week for the Iroquois County surplus real estate auction. Catalogs for the auction will be available for $5 online or $20 for a paper catalog. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yerger reported work on 2020 to 2021 assessments. He informed the committee that he purchased a Straight Talk cell phone to reduce the cost of the finance center. The planning and zoning report for August was distributed to the committee as follows. Building permits, August 2020. Agriculture 2, residential 8, wind towers none. Building permits fiscal year 2020, residential 68, agriculture 12, wind towers 0. Building inspections, August 2020, 32. Stignot inquired about permit expirations. It was explained that a permit is good for 2 years, can be extended for 1 year for free, and every year after is at half of the permit cost. Dergler also reported the solar farm on Louis K. Road is almost complete. For old business, Finance Manager Jill Johnson gave an update on the phone system project. She stated that the majority of the cabling was complete and Rudder Technologies is currently working on programming. Completion of the project is still expected to be the end of the week or early the following week. There is no new business, as there was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Curtis to join the meeting, or adjourn the meeting at 10 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted for those present, and I move for its approval.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the tax zoning committee report, seconded by Mrs. Awful. Are there any questions or comments on the report? One thing I would mention is the report talks about the Louis K. solar farm. We have some photographs of that farm up there. If anybody's interested, after the meeting, come up and take a look at them, and you can see what's occurring with that. There's no further questions or comments. The clerk will call the roll.
Doobie,
Yes.
Dupont,
Yes.
Hughes, Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Hopenhour,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
10-0.
Okay, judicial and public safety, Mr. Barons.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee would refer to judicial and public safety with I believe submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on September 2nd, 2020 at 3 p.m. Members present were Barron, Bard, Hughes, Crowe, McGinnis, and Whitlow. All due call was asked. Present Sheriff Derek Hagan, Probation Supervisor Barb King, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, 911 Director Eric Raymond, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Board Chairman John Schur. Meeting was called to order. It was moved by Jed Whitlow and seconded by Steve Hughes to approve the agenda. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. Probation Supervisor Barb King reviewed the probation court services activity report for July and August with the committee. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report to the committee. Total of $69,303.77 was received in fines and fees. $3,873.62 was received from credit collection partners. $3,888.75 was received from IDROP. 911 Director Eric Raymond distributed his monthly ETSD report to the committee. Raymond reported he had one vacancy in his department. The position was filled on August 24th per his board's request. Raymond will be spending more time on the radio. Lastly, a protest occurred in Watsika yesterday. Raymond said the Iroquois County deputies as well as Watsika Police Department handled the situation very well. Raymond scheduled additional staff in the 911 center due to the protest. Sheriff Derek Hagan spoke to the committee about the recent events that have happened at the jail. The Illinois State Police are investigating the events at this time. Hagan also reported the 2 new deputies are out on their own. This allows for an extra person on each evening shift. Donna Crowe commented that all deputies involved in the protest yesterday handled themselves with great restraint. County Board Chairman John Schur said he received numerous calls in support of the deputies. There was no old business, there was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Chad McGinnis, second by Whitlow, to pay additional public safety claims subject to planning board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Crowe, second by Hughes, to adjourn the meeting at 3:13 p.m. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. All which is respectfully submitted and moved for adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the judicial report. Is there a second? Mr. Duquette seconds. Are there any questions or comments about the report? Mrs. Awful?
I was just wondering, is the county in any way liable for anything that happens at the jailhouse?
Well, any liability is covered by our liability insurance. So, if there's it would be through a lawsuit or something of that type. That's what you're referring to? At this point in time, it's very difficult to predict whether that will occur or not. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Ducott,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis, Awful,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Hokenhour,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis, Doobie.
Yes.
Okay, Finance Committee, Mr. Young.
Wait a minute, that's Charlie. They jumped the gun.
IT was next in line.
If we did get finance so late, it's okay.
What have you got, Joe?
I've got IT.
IT, okay, we'll do IT first.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred IT would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before you. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on September 3rd, 2020 at 11:01 a.m. Members present were McTaggart, Young, Bowers, Scher, and Sticknot. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson and 911 Director Eric Raymond. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by John Scher and seconded by Paul Bowers to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Finance Manager Jill Johnson gave an update on the county's funds, stating that cabling is done. Reader Technologies is working on installing the box in the server room, which will hold all the phone equipment. Completion date is possibly Friday, September 4th or Tuesday, September 8th. Johnson also spoke to them about setting up a training session on the phones with the department heads. County Board Chairman commented that an insurance check was received for replacement of the phone system. He noticed he's unsure as to how the insurance company arrived at the amount we were given and asked Johnson to look into the matter. Finance Manager Jill Johnson discussed the county's website upgrade. The county's current vendor, Webfoot Design, gave a quote of $395 per month, which includes a redesign every 24 months at no extra cost and is ADA compliant. The terms with Webfoot is auto renewable every 24 months unless canceled by the county. Area-wide provided a quote of $8,500, but this does not include any unforeseen expenses for future upgrades. A quote was also received from Civic Plus for $23,336.42 for the first year and $4,009.23 for the second year. Johnson said $5,000 is budgeted for the website redesign. It was moved by McTaggart and seconded by Young to approve Webfoot's design proposal for the county's website upgrade. The 2-year contract will go into effect December 1, 2020 for the FY21 budget. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. During old business, Scher informed the committee of the replacement of the equipment in the server room to accommodate the new phone system. The cost of this was not included in the original quote. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Bowers and seconded by Young to adjourn at 11:20 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the IT report. Is there a second? Mr. Curtis? Are there any questions or comments regarding that report? Mrs. Crowe?
How much was the additional cost for putting the phone system into the,
We don't know that yet.
we don't know that yet?
They added an additional rack because the rack we have in there is full. Jeff from Ruder Technologies had just stated that he would work with us, but I don't have a number yet.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Hughes. Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis. Awful.
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Sticknot.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Bard.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bowman. Bowers.
Yes.
Okenauer.
Yes.
Crow. Curtis. Doobie.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes. Okay. Now we'll do the finance report, Mr. Hall.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board and committee to whom was referred finance will take leave to submit the following report on matters before them.
Is it on?
What
Is it even on?
is it? Yep. Your committee president, administrators.
We have to be able to hear you, so you gotta get close to the microphone and speak up.
I don't want to eat it. Yeah, it starts at the second paragraph.
Again? Okay.
Your committee met at the Administration Center on September 3, 2020 at 9 a.m. Members present were Michael McTaggart, Paul Powers, Curtis, Sticknot, Young, and Johnson. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Bill Johnson, State's Attorney Jim Devine, Sheriff Terry Kakis, Treasurer Kurt Albert, County Clerk Lisa Thatcher, County Clerk Chief Deputy Breon Zuber, Supervisor of Assessment Bob Yorker, County Engineer Bill Moore, EMA Director Eric Cece, 9-1 Director Eric Raymond, Susie Warner, and with Home Star Insurance, Ginger Whitlow with ULI Extension, and Child Network Executive Director Christine Jackson. Meeting was called to order. It is moved by Charles Alton, second by Bob Flowers to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There was no public comments. Susie Warner with Home Star Insurance reported another 2% was taken off the county's health renewal with Health Alliance, which is an overall 19% increase. They are also giving him implementation credit of $86,000. This credit will supplement the rate down with a 5% increase. Depending on the renewals, Health Alliance will offer a rate gap for the next year. Warner explained his loss ratio is under 80%, renewal will not exceed 9%. Warner said she is continuing to work with Health Alliance for additional rate relief. Rates from Blue Cross Blue Shield came in higher. Rates from United Healthcare came in lower, but there were differences in the plan. One of the differences involved the processing and claims that currently feed directly to benefit planning. Differences in consolidation checks are sent to the employees once they have reached their deductibility. United Health Care does not offer this option. The employee will be responsible for submitting claims to benefit planning consultants. Werner said the claim can also be submitted to Home Star and they will assist with the processing. We distributed insurance comparison sheet to the committee for the review. United Healthcare increased is 1.95% with several plan differences. Another plan difference is a higher office co-payment from $30 versus a $20 co-pay. However, the co-payment for anyone under 19 years of age is zero. Health Alliance has a $7,350 plan deductible and a co-pay for and 100% coverage after the deductible is reached. United Healthcare plan offers a $5,000 deductible. Insurance would pay 80%, and members would pay 20% until they reach the out-of-pocket maximum of $6,350. Finance manager Jill Johnson reported differences cost to the county. Pay period would be approximately $5,000. If a change is made to go with United Healthcare, Warner said she will report back to the Health Alliance. I'll let them know that the county is in the lower rate United Healthcare has to offer. Warner will also speak to United Healthcare about a rate cap of less than 7% for the next year. If a change is made in healthcare, providers will host a week-long benefit fair to assist employees as needed. Warner also reported the denial rate decrease of 2.5%. Vision rate remained the same. Department head gave the following report. They are as follows. State's Attorney Jim Devine introduced Child Network Executive Director Christine Jackson to the committee. A statute was passed last year by the legislature in regards to the fees connected by the circuit clerk's office from individuals who plead guilty. Money is sent to the treasurer's office and is to be distributed to the Child Advocacy Center in Iroquois County. A formal request to the board has to be made before funds can be distributed. Ms. Johnson spoke to the committee about the Child Advocacy Center located in Jefferson Plaza and Waseca. The center was established in 2017. They provided a coordinated approach to child abuse cases. In 2020, the Child Abuse Center has had a caseload of 27 so far. These services are provided at no cost to the client. It was moved by Joe Young and seconded by Johnson to release any money within the Child Advocacy Center fund to the Child Advocacy Center under statute 705 ILCS 135/10-5 parentheses B in the parentheses start in parentheses 16 in the parentheses. Got that? A roll call was taken. Motion carried. County Engineer Joel Moore reported the Highway Committee meeting has been canceled and claims are being reviewed and approved through the Finance Committee meeting. Sheriff Jared Kegan reported on the recent events that happened at the jail. The Illinois State Police is continuing to investigate in all interviews. A protest was held in town at the courthouse jail parking lot and went smoothly. The two new deputies are out on their own. Their police at the academy training was delayed by a week due to COVID-19. This allowed for an extra person on night shift. Treasurer Kurt Alberts reported September 1st was the last day for second installment of the property tax payment to be paid. Penalties or payments were waived on September 2nd due to administration center closing early. 911 center Eric payment reported a new hire began August 24th. Training typically takes 8 weeks. The ETSB board has requested Raymond to spend more time on the radio. Raymond also applauded the work of their sheriff department and the Waseca Police Department did during the protest. Finance manager Joe Johnson reported that the cabling for the phones is complete. They are hoping to be able to have everything complete by tomorrow. It may not be completed until Tuesday. Also, the insurance check has been received of approximately $27,000. Ginger Boyd with the UI extension distributed extended office levy request. The current levy required is $111,300, and the full set of that we would like to levy to remain the same. The staff has been working remotely but has plans to reopen their office on September 14th. Johnson requested the fiscal year 20 audit he gave a letter was sent by Clifford Larson Gallup. The cost is lower than what was budgeted. It was moved by Alt and seconded by Johnson to approve the audit engagement letter. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Committee discussed the FY 21 budget, reviewed the preliminary overview spreadsheet showing a positive balance of $981. Johnson provided the committee with the updated budget worksheet reflecting any changes from department heads. Johnson stated the two major differences were lowering the replacement tax by $20,000, increasing the salaries by 3% instead of 2.5%. Confirming was made with more about the resurfacing of the parking lot. Dollar amounts have already been included in the capital improvement budget. Higgins spoke to the committee about the public safety fund. He budgeted for salary and benefits to be taken out of the public safety fund for 2 deputies, but has not seen a distribution yet. Also, Hagan said 911 requested $135,000 from the public safety tax for grant purposes. The last disbursements received from the state was $32,000 on August 10th. There is currently $514,000 in the public safety fund. Taking the estimated here, there should be around $600,000 in the fund by the end of the fiscal year. All funds have been appropriately distributed. The fund balance will be $350,000. Hagan also noted the 911 fund has $827,000 and receives more revenue than the public safety fund. After giving this information, Hagan asked the committee if revenues had been the public revenues, if the 135 that's from 911 would need to come from safety, public safety fund. Johnson said this year 20 request from Raymond was for equipment until grant money was received. Raymond's grant was received and there has been no request to transfer funds from the public safety fund. Fiscal year 21 request is for subsidizing salaries. Raymond asked that the request last year was to keep the amount equally between the cities of Waseca, Iroquois County, and the ETSB for joint dispatch. The $827,000 fund balance are funds coming in from telephone surcharges. Hagan explained his public safety request for fiscal year 21 isn't for new hires. It is for deputies he hired in fiscal year 20. Their salary should come out of the public safety fund. Johnson noted the deputies are currently being paid from the general fund rather than the public safety fund. Hagan also requested a quote for $125 to replace the doors in the cell block in the jail. The replacement can be done in stages, but Hagan said he would prefer to have it done all at once. In regards to the joint dispatch agreement, all entities are paid in full besides your Gilman's police department and 2 others that are paid quarterly. Hagan said that Hagan asked the committee to explore other options to fund 911 and joint dispatch. Raymond read minutes from the meeting regarding the $135,000. Minutes stated that County Board Chairman John Scher requested $135,000 be transferred from the public safety fund to come to ETSB shortfall. Johnson confirmed that $125,000 for jail doors, $150,000 for joint dispatch, and $115,000 for uniforms would come from the public safety fund. At the request of committee, Hagan reviewed the vehicles with the committee. His request, his deputies worked 4 10-hour days, 6 of the 12 road deputies have their own vehicles, and 3 vehicles are shared by 2 deputies. Impalas are no longer offering their police package. Hagan said they have switched to SUVs and Tahoes. They also have a 2019 transport van. One of the Impala squad cars was recently in an accident. The accident was reported to insurance and the check has been received yesterday. In regards to the Gilman Police Department, Hagan met with Mayor of Gilman and Alderman in August. They will be advertising for an officer and reaching out to Hagan. They were also interested in reaching out to another community to see if they would like to do a joint partnership with Gilman and County. Hogan is waiting a return call. The committee also received budget changes. Johnson said she was asking to request IEDA Director Kimberly submit his list of expenses. Additional budget changes were reviewed, including insurance changes for the public defender. Sherry Johnson suggested a stipend towards insurance or office expenses. Stipend, I guess that is. Committee reviewed EMA Director Terry Stacy's salary request. Sherry suggested committee accept CC's request. McTaggart and Johnson stated his a higher rate raise is included in the following outgoing projects CC is working on need to be reached. CC noted his salary is below the average pay level and he has been at his position for 6 years. Committee reviewed the claims. They moved by Alton, second by Johnson, to pay the claim subject to county board approval. The roll call was taken, motion carried. Old business. During the new business discussion was held on the new agency taking over Head Start. They would like to continue with the lease. Chair said the board will have to consider the situation carefully. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Young and seconded by Johnson to adjourn at 10:54 a.m. Motion carried by voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted. I ask for its approval. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Finance Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Curtis, are there any questions or comments regarding the report?
I got one comment. I believe Sherry and Mike are correct. Once Eric does get his projects done, then he could be given the raise. I just put my thought behind that. But definitely, it's outstanding projects need to be taken care of.
Mr. Zumwalt.
I had a clarification on Ginger Boas, the U of I extension. She's saying that she's going to be opening their office on September 14th. They don't say where that office is. I don't believe it's in Iroquois County anymore.
Champaign. It's a Champaign, Illinois address, I believe.
Okay. All right.
It's out near where the interstate goes on to Decatur and Springfield.
They don't have the office in Mount Margaret any longer?
Oh, yes, they still have an office.
That's what Mr. Zumwalt was asking.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't think they're there very much.
They've been remote,
Yeah.
from what she said.
I would just make the comment that it seems like we haven't left Extension, but Extension has left us, you know, and I think in the future we need to have a serious talk with Ginger as far as what she's doing for this county.
Well, actually, that request for the levy really was not or should not have come before the Finance Committee. It should come before the Tax Committee. They're the ones that prepare the levy every year. So I believe probably at their next meeting, the Tax Committee will be considering that request and others for the levy. Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Doobie?
What percentage increase is Mr. Stacy looking for?
Percentage wise, it's about 11, if I remember correctly, 11 point. He just gave a standard amount of 21,000.
Thank you, Jill.
This is awful.
Yes, I have a question. What exactly does the public safety fund pay for? What is that really used for? What was the beginning of the tax for?
Now, are you asking what does the state statute provide for, or what is the county board's policy?
Oh, the county board's policy.
Well, that policy is something that's up to the county board to determine. I imagine it can be reviewed or changed as the county board sees fit. Heretofore, the money's been used in situations where we had no other source of funds.
Through
We
salaries
had
is what you're
obligations that
talking?
needed to be taken care of.
For salaries?
Some of it has been done for salary, some of it's been done for capital improvement projects. I'm on record as saying that I do not think that using it for salaries is appropriate, but we've had to do so in the past because we had no other choice. I imagine we'll be confronted with something similar in the future. We're confronted with a situation in this county where our costs for salaries are unsustainable. We can't sustain increases of in the neighborhood of 5% a year. Our revenues just don't allow it, or will not in the near future. Mrs. Crowe?
And when you say our policy is always within the state statute, but even then, it's been decided on a case-by-case basis. There is not a written policy, correct?
I believe that's
Yeah.
correct.
I
yes.
just say that for clarification.
Yeah.
If someone goes looking, there's not a
Right.
written. And it was not sold to the public as to be used for salaries.
That's what I thought too.
Are there any other questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis, Awful,
Yes.
Short,
Yes.
Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Bowman,
No.
Bowers,
Yes.
Okenauer,
No.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis, Doobie,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yes.
Hughes,
Downhill from here.
yeah. 17-2.
Okay, on the agenda is the list of appointments. We have a motion to approve those appointments. Mr. Barons, is there a second? Mr. Bowers, are there any questions or comments regarding the appointments? Mr. Duquette?
Oh, yeah, the sheriff's doing American Commission Booth, Brent Damper. Do we know who he is?
He has served on the commission for several years. He's from the state.
Everything about him, is he here to you or the sheriff around here? We can have to talk to him about it.
No.
Are there any other questions about the appointments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
McGinnis, Awful, Sure,
Yes.
Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Okenauer,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis, Doobie,
Yes.
Ducat,
No.
Hughes,
Yes.
Johnson,
No.
McGinnis. 16-2.
Okay, next are claims. You were sent a copy of the claims. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Young, is there a second? Mr. Curtis? Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sure,
Yes.
Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis, Doobie,
Yes.
Dukart,
Yes.
Hughes, Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis.
Motion carried 18-0.
Okay, old business. Is there any old business to come before the board this morning? New business. We have some new business this morning. Okay. Under the new business, we have a resolution. You have a copy of it in front of you. I'm not gonna read it right just at this moment, but I move that we adopt that resolution. Is there a second? Mr. Coleman, second. Are there any questions or comments anybody would like to offer regarding this resolution? Lisa, would you please come over here? It says, whereas Lisa Fancher has served faithfully and with honor for approximately 22 years in the office of county clerk and recorder, with responsibility for conducting all county elections, maintenance of records, including vital records, and property transactions as clerk of the county board, in coordination with the county treasurer and county assessor on property tax matters, and as a valued member of Iroquois County government. Boy, that's a lot. Whereas she was appointed chief deputy clerk in the office of county clerk and recorder on December 1, 1998. Whereas she was appointed county clerk and recorder on October 13, 2009. And I'll add to that, by my account, today is your 151st board meeting. And you've attended every one, you've never missed a one. I think that's outstanding. Whereas her distinguished service to the county represents the best tradition of excellence, dedication to duty, and competence in office. Now therefore, the Iroquois County Board takes this occasion to commend her for her exemplary service to Iroquois County and extends to her the county's best wishes for further success and happiness. Would the Chief Deputy please call the roll and approve this resolution?
We're gonna start with Sticknot,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Bard,
Yes.
Behrens,
Yeah.
Bowman,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Kokenauer,
Absolutely.
Crow,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Doobie,
Yes.
Dukat,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
and Sure.
Yes. We also have a card for you from the board. So we have one other item. We'll be here in just a second.
Would you like to say a few words?
The first time that I had to speak in public was right here at this podium. To get this job, I had to speak in front of the Republican Central Committee, and I was very nervous. And I skipped over about half my speech because I thought my throat was gonna close and I would pass out in front of everybody. At that time, I thought that public speaking was gonna be probably the hardest part of my job, and it turns out that didn't even make the top 10. I got used to public speaking, and I even got to the point where I kind of enjoyed it a little bit, but I'm a little emotional today, so I feel a little nervous today, so forgive me if I sound like a bumbling idiot up here. For me, working for Iroquois County for 22 years and for the last 11 years, being the county clerk has been a huge honor. Leave you in very good hands with Brian and the staff in the county clerk's office. They're amazing, hardworking, dedicated people, and they are an asset to Iroquois County. They're my work family, and I have a hard time imagining not being with them every day. Also, like John said, I've never missed a county board meeting. I think, John, you forgot to count the special meetings too, by the way. More than 150. And believe it or not, I'm really going to miss this too. A lot of other county clerks, especially when I first started, they couldn't get along with their county boards, and they warned me, you won't get along with your county board, but I always got along with my county board. I've always tried to do the best job that I could, and I hope that you as county board members and as citizens and as friends believe that I did. Thank you.
No, go right here.
Go right here. Am I getting a pony?
What we want you to do is to enjoy your retirement. We want you to sit out in your yard, read a book, and get some sun and take it easy.
That is absolutely perfect. It's a very, very thoughtful gift. I would like to tell you that I'm going to sit on the beach on that thing a lot, but it'll probably be in my backyard.
That's fine.
Thank you very much, everybody. That's very thoughtful.
Is there any other new business to come before the board this morning? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Oh, excuse me, Mr. Zumwalt.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Mr. Ducat. One last time, Lisa, would you call the roll, please?
Willow.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Bart.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Kogenauer.
He stepped out
Okay.
of the race.
Crow.
Yes.
Curtis. Doobie.
Yes.
Ducott.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
And Shore.
Yes.
And wait, Sticknot.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
Pretty good yourself.
Thank you very much.
So what's the schedule?